Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another YouTube video, another banger on the Go On 4 channel. It's what you've come to expect from us, all right? And I say us, I am joined by Amani again. We are on Underdog Fantasy. We are talking all of the higher and lower picks for this week. I just was talking to Amani off recording and saying I'm really glad that I didn't make any kind of outrageous promises that we were going to choose a prop for every player because that would be outrageous. And I don't think I would want to do that because there's definitely some players on this board here that I just skip right over, don't even look at. So we're not we're not in the business of making stupid, rash decisions. Of course, you know we're very calculated people here. We definitely don't put all of our money in our Bet Online account on Josh Allen to have more passing yards than Tannehill. Because we get frustrated at how the week went. We definitely don't do that. We certainly don't. Luckily, Josh Allen came through for me, and we're here to talk about it. we're here to live another day, right? So let's start with Thursday. The Trubisky and Brissett Bowl, if you will, the third versus fourth in the AFC North. You know, that's a man. Come on, Thursday Night Football. Third and fourth in the North. Come on, you got to do it. You got to hit us with it one time. Anyway, this game is going to be a stinker, man. If I'm looking at Trubisky, I like under 31.5 passing attempts. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would go with that too. And obviously, he's gone over twice this year. Once was the overtime game, so maybe just throw that one out. Last week he threw 33, but they were down 10 points in the in the fourth quarter. Yeah, I mean, I would assume that this would be a very run the ball defensive sort of game here.
Yeah.
Obviously, Pittsburgh's offensive line, they have not really moved many bodies, but I know Tomlin as a defensive minded coach, and the way Trubisky has been playing, if he's not going to bench him, I don't think he's going to keep throwing the ball 30 plus times. So this really feels like a under 31.5 passing attempts, slow pace kind of game, quick game for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's definitely gonna be a fast pace, or like not a fast pace, a quick game, like you said. It's gonna end fast. It's not going to be fast. This is gonna be a slog. If you watch this game, man, you love football because you could be doing anything else. You could be spending time with your significant other. You could be like working out. You could learn a hobby. Like learn a skill. Anything, right? But instead, you're watching Pittsburgh and Cleveland. So that means you got some passion and you got some heart, and I appreciate that about you. I like that. Man, look, the passing attempts thing, it's tough because I can see a world in which they throw it a lot because they can't run it. But I mean, Jesus Christ, like Trubisky's obviously, I don't know that they're even going to put him in a position to throw an interception. So I would just take the under passing attempts. Najee Harris, I like 3 receptions. I really do. I think he probably. I think they try to utilize him in the passing game. I like the 3 receptions. I know that doesn't necessarily correlate with the under passing attempts, but I think it works. And I don't see him getting a ton of yards in this game potentially, but I do see the receptions being a key for him.
Yeah, I mean, look at a guy that had 6 targets last week. He had two targets in week 1, but that's probably more filling things out. Going back to last season, he was a big target guy, a lot of targets, target share. I mean, I think if he gets 5 targets, he should catch the ball 3 times because more than likely it's going to be a little dump down pass or a swing pass.
Exactly.
So yeah, I would go with that over 3 receptions.
Yeah, now, granted, and I will warn everybody watching, I haven't hit on a running back receptions prop all year. I actually want to say I don't know if I've hit on a receiver prop all year on the over. My fatal flaw, my toxic trait, if you will, is taking the over on everything and not taking the under enough. So what I'm going to start doing is trying to be boring and take the under, or the lower, as it's called, lower dog, not underdog, right? But I'm taking the over. Yeah, well, that's okay. I'm taking the over on Najee's catches. I think 3 is not a bad number. I wish it was 2.5, but what can you do? Deontay Johnson, I'm not touching this dude. I'm not touching that. Like, he's going to get the crazy targets, but they're Mitch Trubisky targets. So, like, are they really targets or are they, like, half targets? You know what I mean? Like, they're not real targets. Yeah. They're not. So, I'm not touching him. I'm not touching Claypool. I'm not touching Freiermuth. I don't want any piece of any of that at all.
Exactly.
Now, in DFS I am, but not on Underdog. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not interested in any of what they're selling. George Pickens is the only pass catcher that I'm a little bit curious about because he's been on the field and I mentioned this in another video, he's been on the field like 80 some odd percent of snaps for them. That's a lot for a rookie. And eventually, Mitch Trubisky is going to realize that he has another receiver on the field that is capable of catching the ball, other than Deontay Johnson. So Pickens over 2.5 receptions is not something I hate, but again, it's me taking the over on something and just assuming like, hey, eventually he's going to get 2.5 receptions. Why not this week? Why not tomorrow night? So I'm not doing that. I'm not going to even bet on it. But if I had to pick something for George Pickens, gun to my head, I kind of like the over 2.5. I think that's a cool one. This one, Jacoby Brissett. I mean, dude, like I'm fading Jacoby Brissett.
Like, the thing is, like last week, they allowed Mac Jones for over 250 yards, and Nelson Aguilar, had a really big play. But what if that's Amari Cooper? Like, what if they target him downfield and he makes some explosives downfield, and that 212.5 can just hit basically off 2 or 3 plays. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I personally am on the train of if you take the 212.5, you might as well take the 188 because I don't know how big of a threat Jacoby Brissett is to run. I think the 188 is probably safer just because Brissett, like, running is not his strong suit necessarily. Man, I guess so. I just feel like it's a Chubb day, and I don't like Jacoby Brissett as a player. I think he sucks. And I know that doesn't matter. I know that shouldn't matter, right? But it does to me. But I do think his passing yards is probably okay. Not my favorite, but I think it's okay. Nick Chubb, however, I like because I like his rushing touchdown over. I think he is going to stumble his way 3 yards in a cloud of dust into the end zone. What are your thoughts on Nick Chubb tomorrow?
Man, 8.5 receiving. That seems pretty low, but I mean, it's every time something seems pretty low, it's probably right. So.
It's a trick. And the reason they've got it there is because they want you to take that. And I say that because Nick Chubb had 3 catches last week. He had 3 receptions last week, which is like probably a career high for him, right?
Yeah, for 26 yards.
Yeah. So 8.5 receiving yards. They want you to look at that and go, damn. They kind of want you to do it with rushing touchdowns too, because he had 3 of those last week also. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying.
This one you look at, Harris had 2 catches for 16 yards last week against the Steelers, then Mixon 7 for 63. So I mean that is probably somewhat of a trap there because they're like, oh, look at that, they're giving up 10 yards to a back. And
every statistic, everything in your brain says that's a solid play, which means it's gonna hit under 8.5 receiving yards. For sure.
Exactly.
Same thing with rushing touchdowns, though, man. I mean, look, I will say this: my past 2 anytime touchdown bets on FanDuel hit because I had Henry and I had Jalen Hurts. You may think they're obvious, but Derrick Henry had 20 yards. I just got lucky that he fell in the end zone, so I might get lucky that Chubb falls in the end zone too. I would take Chubb on the touchdown. But that's about it. Kareem Hunt is a little bit more interesting to me actually than Chubb. He has a couple props on here that I really like. I like his receiving yard prop at 16.5, and I also really like his 2.5 receptions. Again, my track record on receptions speaks for itself. It's terrible. He had a really off day on Sunday in terms of getting opportunities to catch the ball out of the backfield. I don't see that necessarily continuing. I think he's probably still a good play at 2.5 receptions. I like that. And I like his receiving yards because, in theory, if he gets 2.5 receptions and I like that, then I have to like the receiving yards because if he gets 3 catches, he's probably going to get over 20 yards.
Yeah, like, as we said, or as I alluded to, talking about Nick Chubb. Now, here's a running back that I will trust with my receiving yards.
Yeah.
Going up against that Steelers linebacking unit, not very good. Devin Bush, I mean, he couldn't cover a blank spot on the ground as it's not moving. He is not good at all, and I could see Kareem Hunt having 3 or 4 catches for 30 or so yards and maybe even getting an explosive 20-25 yard gain down the sideline or something like that. So I would go with that Kareem Hunt 16.5 over 16.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, I like that bet too. And again, I'm probably gonna have to start leaning more towards yards and receptions based off of my track record. So I think I might play the receiving yards for Hunt. Mari Cooper is interesting to me because if Cleveland wants to throw the ball, unless it's week one, then they're going to want to throw the ball to Amari Cooper. He is going to be open. He is going to get open against any cornerback in this league. There's nobody that is going to prevent him from getting open. He's shown that time and time again, year after year after year, right? Now, he has had spells, dry spells, where quarterbacks just don't really look at him, right? It happened in Dallas last year. There was a spell where Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott forgot he was on the team. They forgot he got on the bus, right? Or the plane, or the jet, or whatever the fuck. Amari Cooper is a good receiver. He's going to be open. He's going to get the football, but how much? I think he is going to have under 52.5 receiving yards. The only reason I say that is because of the Browns' rushing attack. I think the Browns are going to be more run heavy this game. And again, when you're talking about the under, there's more things that can happen for the under to hit than the over, in my opinion. So being a run heavy attack, maybe they pay a little bit more attention to Amari because the other option is Donovan Peoples-Jones. So I think, the under 52.5, I kind of like for Amari this week.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I probably wouldn't, touch anything here. Just
I'm not. I would not either.
Yeah, because like you said, I mean, he's gone. It's not like he's gone ghost, but the targets to him, have been very low at times, and I just like you said, this feels like a very old school kind of football game. Yeah. Pound the ball on the ground, don't try to lose it, and win the game in the fourth quarter with a defensive play or something like that. So, yeah, I just really wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in Amari. I would say that if I had to bet it, I would probably bet the under on the receiving yards. There's definitely a game script and a universe somewhere where the over hits. I just don't know that it's this one. And again, I'm not really interested because I think it could go either way. And if it could go either way, I'm not super interested in it. Donovan Peoples-Jones is dead to me because I had over 2.5 receptions last week and he got one target. So I'm never, ever touching him again. He is done. He's done for me. Njoku, no. Pat Mahomes, 2.5 passing touchdowns. You can put it on the board. That is a guarantee stone cold lock of the week. 2.5 passing touchdowns. That's it, dude. Like, that's the bet. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. Just smack that. Close your Underdog app.
Yep.
And go on, eat dinner, eat your snack, whatever you're gonna do. Don't even think about it. 2.5.
Dude, just hit this and then bet your life savings. Like, seriously. Seriously, hit this on your life savings and just go crazy, right? My life savings is $22.50 on here. Actually, that's my life savings on here. It's $22.50. So if I put $22.50 on Pat Mahomes, you can't do 50. I can't do 50 cent. What is this? What are we like? Shaming 50 cent, dude? How can I win 50 cent but I can't bet 50 cent? That doesn't make sense. All right, do Pat Mahomes and then go back up here and do the touchdown. Thank me later. Put everything on it. The touchdown I'm less confident about. There should be an asterisk beside that one. But these touchdowns right here, this is cash. Free money. Yeah, free money. I'm glad we're on the same page. CEH, I talked about him a little bit in the DFS video from earlier this week. I like CEH. I think he looks a lot better this year than he has previous. I think he's finally starting to come to grips with his role in the offense. He's finally starting to make the most of his opportunities. That being said, I have negative interest in CEH this week, or any week for the most part, because I just don't see the, 10 touches. I just don't see the value, right? He's just not really interesting. Jarrett McKinnon, same thing. Juju is very, very nearly dead to me as well, because I watched him stand at the line of scrimmage for the entirety of the Chargers game and do nothing. And I had him over like 4.5 receptions. I thought it was a guarantee. It was not. I'm not touching Juju. Would you do anything for Juju at all?
Yeah, so I mean, last week I understood, kind of the game plan. You going up against Bosa and Mac, and you're a little worried about the pass rush, and I still don't understand why he was such a decoy in that game, and they were trying to free up Justin Watson and Miko Hardman. I didn't really understand that, and even Kelsey only had 5 or 6 catches. I don't know.
Trust me, dude. I know because I had Kelsey's over on his receiving yards as well. So.
Me and you both. So
yeah.
I'm going to write that off as an anomaly.
Sure.
and I will go with Juju over 5 catches this week. I'm confident. The Indy pass rush is nothing to be worried about. I think they'll target him. They'll give him the ball. They'll do some TikTok dances sideline after he scores a touchdown. So I'll roll with Juju over 5 catches. And if he doesn't hit, then yeah, he's dead to me as well.
I have zero interest in that. I can't lie to you. I'm not interested. He's gonna get 5 on the dot, and I'll push if anything, but not interested in that. The rest of these dudes, man, like I'm not interested. Super interested in Kelsey. I'm sure he'll have a great game, but it's just not for me. MVS, I hit his under last week, and I enjoyed that. I'm probably not going to risk it again this week, even though 3.5 is a lot. That's a lot for him, for this guy, right? This guy right here, this guy, yeah, that's a lot. Because he's not really just a machine out there, you know what I mean? But I'm not super interested in that because I don't like to tempt fate. I took the under last week and it hit. I'm not into doubling down. You know what I mean? I'm not double or nothing on that. I'm cool. I got it off. I'm done. Now
I do want to.
Go ahead. Sure.
Gus Bradley, single high defense. He did it against the Chiefs all of last season when the whole league adopted at too high shell. He said, no, I'm going to run my defense. Well, guess what? He's going to run his defense again, and Miko Hardman is going to have a 50-yard bomb for a touchdown. So if you can take his over in receiving yards and longest play, I would go ahead and do that. I believe he will catch a bomb or maybe a slant and, break one tackle and hit his head on the goalpost.
That's not a bad bet. It's really not. I can definitely understand that. Here's another not bad bet. Give me Matt Ryan over 244 passing yards because they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. Matt Ryan is going to be under duress. I understand that, but they're going to have to throw it. And when they have to throw it, he's going to throw for, I would say anywhere between 270, 280 yards to up to maybe 3. I think Matt Ryan is going to have not even a good game, but he's going to have to throw the ball a lot. And when you have to throw the ball a lot, you're bound to rack up passing yards just out of principle. So I like his over this week. I think he's definitely going to hit. This is not a guy that I like this week, unfortunately. Again, I'm scarred, right? Because last week they were not in a good spot, not in a good place against Jacksonville, and Jonathan Taylor disappeared. He was Houdini last week. 9 touches or 10 touches in the game, huh?
Yeah.
6 yards per carry. What? Why? Why would you do that? You're playing Jacksonville. Did you forget, Frank? Did we forget who this guy is? Who he was last year? Did we forget about him? I'm forgetting about him this week. I'm not interested. I like Jonathan Taylor, the player. I think he probably will hit the over. I'm not going to be the one that risks my money on it, though. Not me. Not with Frank Wright calling the plays. Not with them being down the whole game. Nah. No shot. 0. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I took Jonathan Taylor number 1 overall in season-long fantasy, and for him to go out there and get me 7 whole points, that was a bit concerning and really disappointing to the point where last night I was thinking about how can I trade him away. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really touch him in this game, and maybe early on they hit some because Kansas City defense has at some points in past few years been susceptible to long rushing gains. I don't really see that happening as they've kind of beefed up their defensive line and their linebackers are now. Willie Gay is out, so maybe there's a whole.
He is, yeah,
but I just wouldn't touch it because if they get down 14 or so, we like you said, we may be in for a classic Matt Ryan 2020 Atlanta Falcons 55 passing attempt type of game. And if that happens with Jonathan Taylor, you can kiss that 84.5 goodbye.
Yeah, I agree. And until they start to make him a more usable player within their passing system, I don't see the value in taking his receiving yards total for like in a competent offense and for a realistic approach. You would expect, hey, in the game we're going to be down, let's get our best player of the ball in space, right? Let's throw him the ball a couple times out in space. They don't do that. The Colts don't do that. The Colts are just the Titans. All right, I said it. The Colts are just the Titans. That whole division sucks. All right, Indianapolis, you suck. Tennessee, you suck. Jacksonville, you guys are all right. Houston, you're getting better. Like you know what I mean? Like they suck. The whole
Yeah,
division sucks. No,
I fully agree with you there.
no, I'm not interested in Midwest football. No, stop it. Like I know the Big
No,
Ten's up there, dude. I know the Big Ten's up there, but they don't need to play like that. They can play however they want. They're not locked into playing like Wisconsin. They can play like anybody. Oh man, I'm so sick of the Colts. Michael Pittman, who even knows if he's going to play? If he does play, it's not a bad correlation for the receiving yards along with Matt Ryan's passing yards. I mean, if you're expecting Matt Ryan to hit, then guess what? Pittman's probably going to hit too. So I mean, these two things go really well together in my opinion. Because if he plays and he hits the over, then Pittman's also going to hit the over. So that wouldn't hurt my feelings. The rest of these guys, I don't know who even this guy is even. So I'm not interested in him. Kylan Granson, no, dude. I'll hit the lower. Who is this guy? Who is he? I'll hit the lower. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
I will say for Alec Pierce, I have called him Jeff Janis 2.0, and that might be disrespectful to Jeff Janis. This guy is absolutely terrible. I have no clue how he was even ever drafted. If you can take his under every single week, I mean, maybe at some point they run a deep post and the defense miscommunicates and he's just standing wide open. And even then, he may drop it and then never play again. But I would just smash his lower until it's at 0.5. He is absolutely terrible.
At least he practiced Wednesday. That's good. That's good. That's a good sign for Indy.
It's not good for the Colts.
It's not. Fair enough. Fair enough. I have no interest in any of the Bills because all their stuff is fantasy points. I would assume that's going to change before Sunday, so I would keep an eye out. Josh Allen is probably going to throw for anywhere between 270 to 300 yards. I would have no hesitation in taking the over 270 on him if that was possible. Stephon Diggs, he's a guy that I would be hesitant on because every time, the past 2 games at least, that they've played Xavier Howard, Stephon Diggs has kind of been in hell. Like, not super hell, but like maybe the first circle of hell, not really like the 12th circle. He's been like just entering hell, and then he gets to leave, right? He's not stuck there forever, but he hasn't really had great games against Xavier Howard, and I mean, I would hesitate on Diggs. Everybody else, I mean, Singletary, whatever it is for him, don't take it because you never know. You just don't know. Gabe Davis, been injured, kind of a tough call. Again, I don't know the exact props. I would assume Gabe Davis is probably like 4.5 receptions, maybe. Probably
exactly. I was thinking.
Yeah, like 50-ish yards, 55-ish yards. They probably is a prop. So I wouldn't really touch Gabe Davis just because you don't know how healthy he is. If you can find an Isaiah McKenzie prop somewhere, that's probably a cute one because I don't like Miami's slot corners too much. So Isaiah McKenzie's not bad, but he never gets the ball. So like, who knows? He just doesn't ever get the ball anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm fading Tua this week on everything. I think people are going to be chasing him. I think it makes a lot of sense coming off of that crazy game he just had to say, oh man, he's going to get over. But like, I'm fading it. Buffalo's defense is not great. Their secondary is not great. Again, I just don't know the game script here. I don't know how this is going to go. And last time they played Buffalo, early in the season, Tua broke his ribs. So I'm not going to touch this guy. I'm going to leave this guy alone. I'm going to let him do his thing, and hopefully he wins the football game for us on Sunday.
I like his rushing yards at 8.5. There's going to be a lot of attention on Tyreek and Waddle. I think those linebackers are going to have to gain some depth a little bit, and I think that's a perfect chance for him to step up, get a first down. Maybe he gets 2 first downs, and I don't think he'll be, taking knees at the end of the game. That will affect that. So I like that 8.5. I like that number a lot.
Little do you know, he's absolutely going to take 3 knees to end the game. And he's losing 6 of those yards he gets. So
if he does that, then I will take off the lei around my neck, and I will never support anything Hawaii ever again.
Oh, come on, man, come on. He's taking knees at the end of the game. We're good, dude. We're winning. The receiving props. Genuinely, I like the numbers. Okay. I get concerned about game script. I get concerned about what that game's going to look like. I just don't know how it's going to be, man. I don't know how conservatively Miami's going to want to play. If they're in the game with Buffalo, who's a team that they know is probably a better football team than them. Is Mike McDaniel going to, and this is a crazy, crazy thing to say after the first few weeks, but is Mike McDaniel going to be a little bit more conservative, similar to the Patriots game where, we're just kind of, we're still taking our shots. We're still trying to score, but we're doing it maybe in a more conservative way versus last week was just like bombs away. Like we gotta come back into the game. So it just depends on game script. But I like both of these overs. I think they're properly placed. Kind of like Waddle's a little bit more than Tyreek's, just because I think, like you said, he's going to get extra attention, and Waddle's probably going to be left not alone, but more alone than Tyreek. And I think Waddle has a lot of touchdown upside in terms of the fantasy points option because Tua targets him in the end zone. Like when they're in the red zone, Tua looks for him for jump balls. Like Tua trusts him a lot on like end zone throws too. So I don't know, but these two guys, I'm kind of like just probably all right. Your thoughts? Any thoughts?
Oh
on this?
yeah, I mean,
no, I mean, there's nothing really to talk about, right? I mean, who knows? They get hit over, they get under. That's the whole point.
I look at like I do think this will be a relatively higher scoring game. I would take one of those overs. I'm not really too sure which. I feel like Tyreek's pretty safe. I mean, he get the ball in his hands 3 times and he can have 150 yards. So
yeah, it's just a tough call with those two because you never really know whose day it is.
So you take both of them and have the insurance, and
there you go. Looking at Derek Carr against Tennessee, I would probably fade everything to do with Derek Carr against Tennessee just because, again, slow-paced game. His interception total, it looks juicy to me.
It looks very good. It looks,
but I mean, Tennessee's secondary is not very good, and like realistically, all he has to do is throw the ball to Devontae Adams every single snap, and he's not throwing a pick. You know what I mean? Like he's just not, because nobody's going to cover Devontae. So like he's not throwing a pick as long as he targets this guy. Which last week he didn't. He threw it to Devontae 4 times, 4 targets. Oh, he had 7. Damn. But
he in overtime when he checked out of that run play, he targeted Devontae.
Yeah, but that was a miscommunication. Just not good.
Yeah,
not good. Give me away from Derek Carr, man. I just his interception. Like if it was a fumble prop, like a turnover prop, just one turnover, I'd be all over that.
But I love him to throw a pick. I mean, last week obviously you're playing. Tennessee's playing the Bills. That's the best offense in the league. It's hard to really disguise a lot of stuff and trick Josh Allen. I mean, he's at another level right now. For Derek Carr, that's a different thing.
Yeah,
Vrabel is really good at disguising coverages. And making quarterbacks, the old Sam Darnold see ghosts. I think Derek Carr he'll see a ghost at least one time. I like him to throw an interception, and give me Amani Hooker to happen. He's close last week, close week 1. Give me my Hooker pick.
Also on the back of this game, I do like Devontae Adams for 80+ receiving yards. I think that if he doesn't get 80 receiving yards, it's a travesty. Because, like you said, Tennessee's secondary last week against the Bills was not very good. All it literally takes is for Derek to just find him. As long as you find him, 80+ receiving yards seems reasonable to me for this guy. I don't see them slowing him down. The Tennessee side, there's not a whole lot I like. Tannehill, interception I don't hate. And depending on game script, I don't hate passing yards either. How much does he have against Buffalo? I know he got taken out. Yeah. Oh God, never mind. Let me just not worry about the passing yards, and we'll focus on the interceptions. I like interceptions. For Derek, again, it's game script dependent. That's what makes running backs kind of tough because if it's a close game, Derek could very feasibly get 22 carries, like 23 carries. There's no reason he couldn't get that. But again, it just depends on the game script, and it's kind of scary. Not something I'm super interested in. Tennessee's whole offense, I kind of just want to fade. Treylon Burks, if his prop was at maybe like, what do you have last week? 4. If his prop was at like 3.5, I would take it again. Except the fact that he's dealing with an ankle injury. Oh wait. See, this is why you gotta read. You know what I mean? You gotta read stuff. You gotta see the news, dude. Because like, if he's dealing with an ankle injury, maybe I'm not on that anymore. But yeah, this whole offense, I just not super.
Yeah, throw that offense in the garbage.
Yeah, throw that offense in the garbage with the Colts offense. Just put them in the same bucket. The Colts have a redeeming quality in the fact that they will throw the ball. I guess the Titans tried to throw the ball, but Ryan Tannehill was not. He was not interested in being a competent quarterback last week. Lions offense is kind of a similar boat to me. I'm not super interested in anybody on this offense. DeAndre Swift, it's hard to take 90 plus total yards when he's in like a 50-50 timeshare with Jamal Williams. I like DeAndre Swift, the player, a lot. I just think Dan Campbell is trying really hard to keep them both fresh. And in doing so, he kind of makes it difficult for me to like think he's going to get there. Obviously, he's talented enough to get there, but if he only has 7 touches, like he had 7 touches last week, 7 touches against Washington. So call me crazy, but it doesn't inspire confidence. Jared Goff throwing a pick. I mean, like, who's gonna get it? You know what I mean? Like, is Harrison Smith gonna get one? Like, who's actually gonna pick him off?
Yeah, and they aren't that aggressive enough for him to even really almost throw a pick.
Right. So this whole thing I want to fade. Amon-Ra, it's a cool idea. 71.5 passing yards. Like, he's good for it, but. And I think I'm playing him in DFS this week. So if you want to correlate your DFS with your underdog and all that, like if you want to be just a correlation maniac, then go for it. But I think, putting him in DFS and then fading him in underdog, at least you kind of hedge your bets a little bit. But the rest of this offense, I'm not interested in at all. And then Minnesota's offense, where is my guy? We'll do that. Yeah. It's 100 receiving yards is crazy. It's crazy to bet the over on 100 receiving yards. But, I mean, dude. If he doesn't get it, it's honestly more crazy for him to not get there to me than for him to get it.
You'll be banking on the likes of Jeffrey Okuda to be able to mirror a Darius Slay performance from Monday night. I just don't see that happening.
No way, man. There's just no way. It's a division game. It's an important game. I just think Jay Jetta shows up. I mean, he showed up. He showed up. He ran some routes last week, but this guy had trouble getting him the ball, and it's partially because of Darius Slay as well. And we don't really look at this too much. I like some of these like rivals things. I even hit one last week with Hurts versus Cousins, but I mean I don't really look at that too much usually. But yeah, I like Jay Jetta this week. Dalvin, I'm off of for the time being. I just don't see it right now. Obviously against Green Bay, he played really well. Last week against Philly, he was out of the game basically because they were out of the game. So it's tough, man. I think Dalvin could probably get there for you. I think that the 100 yards is not out of his reach. But if I'm banking on Jay Jetta getting 100, I'm not banking on Dalvin getting 100. So I would not put those two in the same like ticket basically. Thielen, I mean, like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on Thielen? I think he's kind of dusty, right? Like, he's old. He's just done.
Yeah, man. I mean, he hit the over last week because of garbage time, and he had 52, and it was 15 and a half. I just wouldn't touch him. I mean, Kirk doesn't really look his way, and the targets that he gets are basically, oh, Jetta's not open. Who else can I find? Oh, it's Thielen, but he's in double coverage. I'm just throwing it up to him.
Right.
There's really not. There aren't any really quality targets that he gets, unless it's garbage time, and I don't foresee the Lions dominate the Vikings. So I would fade him, or even you could even hit the under. Really.
Yeah, the under on receiving yards isn't a bad shout. All right, so here's an honorable mention guy that I want to talk about, right? And you know why I'm going to talk about him, and here's the thing, right? So in DFS and in just like betting in general, right? My thing is opportunity, right? He had 8 targets last week. He had 5 catches. He had a touchdown. He should have had another one. He dropped it. You put him in that same spot next week. Let's say he catches it. Okay, great. His fantasy points are going to be way higher than 8. Now, I would never bet fantasy points because that is truly a maniac, degenerate, psychopath thing to do, to bet fantasy points. You have got something wrong, deranged in your head to do this. Not for me. It's just not for me. Could be for you. That's great. It's not for me. Now, Irv's catches, if it's at like 2.5, 3.5, I'm taking that. His receiving yards, if it's at like 25.5, 30, I'd be interested in that too. I just think, you want to see opportunities out of players. He had opportunities last week. I think he gets more opportunities this week against the Lions linebackers who are not necessarily name brand players, right? So I like Irv. I think he's going to have a good week this week. I think he had a good week last week. It's just overshadowed by a really, really bad drop. Moving on. I know.
I'll just pray that they don't bite kneecaps off.
Yeah, exactly. The kneecaps are a danger for sure every time you play the Lions. But put some stickum on Herb's hands, man. He'll be fine. Just spray some stickum on there, send him out. You're good. Uh, Ravens. I don't like touching any of the Ravens this week against the Patriots. I also don't like touching any of the Patriots against the Ravens. So this is kind of an easy skip for me. I mean, I just like Rashad Bateman to me was kind of like it's kind of boomer bust with him, right? And like obviously the first 2 weeks he got fortunate. 2 catches for 59 yards. Last week he had one slant for 75. I'm not interested in him. Lamar's total yards could definitely hit 282, but at the same time he could have a game like he did against the Jets where he kind of didn't really do a whole lot and they still won the game. That's kind of what I lean more towards in this game than last week. So I'm not interested in the Ravens. Are you interested in the Ravens at all this week?
No, I'm not. I think that would, I just foresee that to be a kind of a lower scoring game. Defensive, Ravens they don't really want to put the ball in harm's way. Play pretty safe because obviously they're not going up against the greatest show on turf over there in New England.
Sure,
So,
sure.
yeah, I wouldn't touch any of their
Yeah,
offensive guys.
I'm not interested at all. I'm not interested in Mac Jones. If anything, I would almost take his under for passing yards. I thought that the Dolphins were able to run the ball with some success using Raheem Mostert last week. I think that the Patriots are going to be able to replicate that this week with Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson. I think they're going to run the ball more than they're going to throw it. I think that Mac Jones is not going to have the amount of opportunities he needs to hit 244 with the receiving core that he possesses, even with the bad secondary over in Baltimore right now. I have no interest in this. If I did have an interest, I'd probably take the under. But I'm probably not going to touch it because again, it's all about game script, right? Baltimore could go out there and just blow New England's doors off 14-0 in the first quarter, and then New England has to have a Miami type game where they throw every snap, right? I don't necessarily know that that's going to happen. I think Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson are in for good games, and I mean but that's really it. Like, and you see that none of the receivers have props because Underdog is probably losing money hand over fist trying to pay out the under for Devontae Parker's everything, right? Like it's just you bet the under for Devontae Parker and then you cash. So that's that. They've rectified that mistake. Good for them. This game here. We do have Cover Boy in this game, right? Cover Boy, David Montgomery on the thumbnail. He's my guy. We're gonna talk about the Texans first. And what are we gonna say about the Texans? Because I don't really know what I'm gonna say about the Texans right now. I think I like Dameon Pierce's rushing yard total. Your thoughts on the game, the Texans?
Yeah, man. I mean, kind of look at this game and maybe it's under 30 and a half Davis Mills passing attempts because obviously Chicago they have no business or they don't want to put the ball in the air.
No,
I don't know because I look at last weekend, the Denver game, and it was a very low scoring game, and he had 38 passing attempts.
Dude, they threw it all around the yard for some reason against Denver.
Sure
I don't know why. Like, yeah, it's baffling, but I don't know. It's a tough call.
Yeah, I would. It is because like you said, game script, and it feels just like a run the ball. Don't let the Bears have a pick six or fumble six, or just play pretty safe because on their end on offense, the Bears are just gonna hand the ball if they don't trust Justin Fields.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know that's what it feels like. So it would feel like an under passing attempts, but the first 2 weeks they've been pretty aggressive throwing the football.
Yeah. I agree with that. And let me drop a little statistic for you. Week 1, Rex Burkhead had over 70% of the snap share. So in week 2, I bet on Underdog. I took the under for Dameon Pierce and his rushing yards at like 48. I said there's no shot. It may have been like even lower than that. It may have been like 42 or something. There's no shot. He played 30% of the snaps last week. He's not getting 40 yards. Week 2, Dameon Pierce got 70% of the snaps, and Rex Burkhead got 30. So I'm ready to be heard again. I'm going to take the over on Dameon Pierce. Chicago did not stop the run well, and I think that Dameon Pierce can rush for 60-plus yards against the Bears.
Yeah, I guess we'll see if there's a pattern. If it's Burkhead 70 week 1, and then Pierce, and then Burkhead. I guess we will be able to tell after this week.
Well, if it is, then they're going to make these types of props very, very easy for the rest of the year if they do that. We'll see. This game here, I mean, who even knows what's going on with the Bears offense? I just know this. I know David Montgomery is going to get 64 rushing yards at least because they're going to run the ball. They're going to run the shit out of the football. And he is going to be able to run the ball well against Houston. Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, I thought, played fine last week. Melvin Gordon, by the way, barely played. I don't know if you noticed or if you saw that, but he had like 33% of the snap share, 37% snap share last week. Like, Javonte really kind of took the backfield over just a little bit. But, again, I like David Montgomery's over. I'm not touching Justin Fields. I wouldn't touch Justin Fields with a 10-foot pole. Like, I just wouldn't touch him. I'm not interested. Like, any of this. Because as soon as I bet the under, he reverts back to Ohio State and throws for 250 yards and runs for another 100. And I'm just not interested in Justin Fields. I'm just not interested. Matt Eberflus, we're in a competition right now to see who's less interested in Justin Fields, and I think I'm winning, right? And for me to win, it's
something because he led his quarterback third boy 11 times.
Yes, exactly. In a losing effort in a game they were losing the whole game. Yeah. Get me off Justin Fields. Get me on to David Montgomery. And Darnell Mooney. I'm not touching Darnell Mooney either because I don't think he's going to get the ball. But if he does, a receiving yard total, perhaps. I don't know, man. Like, it's just weird. He's a weird player. I mean, Brandon Cooks getting more receiving yards than him, 15 more, feels good to me. It feels actually free, in my opinion. But, anything that feels free is obviously not. So I would, who knows? But any other extra thoughts about the Bears-Texans game?
No, if I look at the Bears lineup one more time, I might throw up.
Yeah, just don't even look at it, dude. Just don't even look at it. It's hard to do anything with the Eagles right now. They're still trying to work on their props because Jalen Hurts broke everything because he actually showed that he could throw the ball a little bit last week. I
wanted to say something.
Go ahead.
If you go on CBS Sports and you read that they say that they have gone through 10,000 simulations on a football game, and they tell you what to do, they tell you to bet Jalen Hurts under 237.5 passing yards, and you do that, and he comes out and he breaks that in the first half, I would suggest, hypothetically, of course speaking.
Sure, yeah. Nobody would actually do that.
Yeah, exactly. You would go to the CBS Sports headquarters, go to the front desk, and ask for that person who made that simulation. And if you find that person, just give a nice slap in the face.
Yeah, we're not inciting violence, of course. It's all hypothetical. Yeah. If somebody worked at that front desk and happened to know this guy, of course. Yeah, right. In VR, not in real life, right?
Yeah.
Go to the CBS headquarters in VR, right? Get your Oculus Rift. Man, like, I agree. I mean, and you sent me that on Twitter too, or hypothetically you sent it to me, and when I looked at it, I just thought, this is the biggest crock of shit I've ever read in my life. And obviously, I wasn't going to say that to you because I didn't know how much you believed it, right? Like, I wasn't going to say, oh man, that is stupid for them to say that. That is absolutely not anything that I would be interested in. And
so next time,
I will tell you.
I will tell you. Keep it 100% real with me.
Yeah, I understand, and I just didn't.
Hypothetically
right. I just didn't hypothetically think that you were gonna take the bet. Which I'm glad you didn't. It was hypothetical, obviously. Yeah. I mean, it just sounded like a crock of shit, man. Like, I ran 10,000 simulations on my MacBook Pro, and Jalen Hurts is gonna throw for under. Dude, you don't know anything about. You can run a million simulations about whatever you want. You can run a million simulations about the Dolphins being down 21 points in the fourth quarter. They're never going to come back and win that game. 711 consecutive losses in that position in the NFL. Like, simulations are great, and I'm sure they're helpful, but not in regards to, I think this guy's going to throw under his passing yard total because my simulation told me so. That doesn't make any sense because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't like. All it took was Jalen Hurts to throw to A.J. Brown twice on like a Joe Burrow special, and it's 2 80-yard touchdowns.
For the Vikings to blow a coverage, and Quez Watkins is 60 yards later in the end zone on a deep post.
Yep. It's crazy, man. It's honestly crazy. So Jalen Hurts broke the slate. Or he broke the space time continuum with his ability to throw the football last week. I would say that I would not chase that feeling that you got when you watched Jalen do that. I don't think that that's sustainable. And maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. But I've seen Jalen have games like that in college. I've seen Jalen have games like that, and I didn't believe it then. I don't believe it now. He will come back down to earth in terms of his passing ability. Not to say he's a bad passer, but he's not going to have efficient, insane games like he just had. Kind of similar to Tua, actually. Don't chase these dudes that have big weeks just because they had a big week. Don't assume that it's going to carry over to next week. Now, Washington's secondary is terrible. So if Philadelphia decides they want to throw the football, they certainly can. If Jalen Hurts' number is anywhere under or like anywhere around like 260, I'm not taking that. If it's like 220, 230 again, 240, 240 is probably too high, but like 220, 230, I would take the over. But again, we don't really know because he's not here. Let's go to teams that are people who are here, and that would be the Washington Commanders. Well, they're kind of here. Antonio Gibson isn't. Antonio Gibson's also dead to me, by the way. I played him in fantasy last week, or in DFS last week, and he got me like, or no, did I? No, I didn't. But he had a bad game, right? Gibson. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I took his combined receiving and rushing yards, and
it was you. That's right.
Yeah, he is in the graveyard. There's no digging him up.
Nope.
He's gone.
He's waiting on Brian Robinson to come back and take his job, and it looks like that's going to be soon because Brian Robinson's running around out there. So we'll see. I took Wentz's over passing yards last week, and it hit. So that makes me feel good. I would consider fading Wentz this week. I think Philadelphia's secondary showed that they're pretty solid. Their pass rush is good. Washington's O-line isn't great. Wentz feels like a hard pass. McLaurin feels kind of like an under to me. You never know. Scary. But if he's on Slay...
Slay's going to probably follow him. It's just...
yeah, if he's on Slay, then no, I don't want him. I'm going to take the lower if he's on Slay. No thanks. I'll move on. I'm not interested. I probably wouldn't even put money on McLaurin because he is a game-breaking player. He's really good, so he could definitely hit the over. But so far this year, he's been really limited, and people expected him to not be with Wentz, but he kind of seems like he is. Curtis Samuel's not limited, however. He is the golden goose. Exactly what we expected him to be last year with Washington. He is this year. I'm not touching him because I know the Curtis Samuel thing. He has a few good weeks. You think like, oh, well, it's safe. I can put money on him. And then he doesn't show up. So no thanks. I'm staying away from Curtis Samuel all year. Not interested until maybe like week 6. If he really, really shows the like actual consistency, then maybe I'll be interested, but not right now. Cincinnati. So we talked earlier. We did the betting guide. If you haven't seen that video, go watch it. It's great. Joe Burrow, man, if they're going to win this game, I feel like he has to hit over his passing yards. I feel like he has to hit over his passing touchdowns if they're going to win. So really the question is, do you think they're going to win? And I would hesitate to say yes. But if you do think they're going to win, then I think the passing touchdowns over or the passing yards over is not a bad bet for him.
Yeah, do we notice his picture now? Yeah.
They changed it. Wow.
He's no longer Joe Cool, Joe Burr. He's none of that. He is now Joseph Burrow from whatever.
Lima, Ohio, right? Like wherever, right? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. They changed his picture. That's crazy. Yeah. I do like his. I like his overs on yards and touchdowns.
Yeah, I like his rushing yards. I mean, he's shown the ability in these last couple weeks to step up, and he will take off. And I think 12 rushing yards for him it's a little disrespectful. I think he ends up around 15, 20-ish because he will take off. So
yeah,
I do like those rushing yards.
Yeah, I don't hate that either. Joe Mixon, I'm kind of staying away from. Last week I played him in DFS, and he kind of bit me on the ass a little bit, to be honest with you. It just wasn't a good week for him, and against a Dallas team that I thought he'd probably be able to outpace. It was a little disappointing. 20 carries nearly for 57 yards is just like not a good day, unfortunately for our boy.
At least he didn't punch you.
No, yeah, he didn't abuse any women last week, so that is a plus for him. Congratulations to him. Every woman in Dallas's jaw is still intact after he left, so good for that. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. It's hard to even want any pieces of them right now because of what the offense looks like. if I had to pick one, I would say Jamar Chase's receiving yards maybe going over. For them to win, again, it just feels like he needs to have a good game. And I think he will. I don't know. I mean, it's a tough one. I'm not really super interested in them either. Tyler Boyd, I have no interest in. I'm just kind of scared by him, to be honest with you. So it's a no for me, dog. Your thoughts on either of them guys?
Yeah, I mean, I would, I guess I would favor Jamar. I mean, T Higgins isn't bad either, but I would probably favor Jamar. They're probably going to move him around. I hope that they realize they have to move him around instead of, being out wide with those safeties over the top. So if they move him around, line him up in a slot, give him some screens, as you alluded to earlier, I feel like that 70.5 should be pretty safe.
How about a quick pop pass, a jet motion pop pass to Jamar Chase? Who says no?
Yeah.
I don't. Zach Taylor does. I don't say no to that. Jamar Chase is one of the most athletic, most talented players in the league. Man, most athletic might be kind of a crazy thing to say, but he is one of the most gifted players in the league. Let's say that with the ball in his hand. And I think that get him the ball in space and just let him work, man. Let him outrun people. Let him be what he is. He's too good to just send him on 50-50 balls all game or throw smoke screens to him. Like just get him involved, please, a little bit more. Not that it matters because I don't care about the Bengals, but still, it's just kind of sad to watch somebody have such a great breakout rookie year and then this, And not that he's had his first week was fine, but they went to overtime, so it doesn't really count. Joe Flacco on the other side. Oh man, I am not interested in the Jets at all. I took Breece Hall's over receptions last week. Did that hit? It did not. He had one. So I am fading the Jets because I don't know anything about that team. And I'm not going to pretend to. Garrett Wilson had a great week last week. Is it sustainable? Is he going to do it again? These are great questions that I don't have the answer to. I don't hate his over receiving yards, but then again,
who's going to be guarding him?
Yeah.
If Joe Flacco could just get him the ball 50 yards seems rather doable. But you're right. I wouldn't touch the Jets with 10-foot pole. That's that's just a mess waiting to blow up in your face after trusting him. After 2 weeks. I'm not going to be a part of that. Hopefully, you guys won't. I know Drew will not.
Nope. No, thank you. I say that there's every possibility that I take Garrett Wilson on Sunday. Every possibility I take him. Because you're right. And looking at it, like realistically speaking, right? If we're looking just taking our blinders off about beating the Jets, right? 8 targets week 1. That's solid, man. If he gets a good amount of targets like that every week, he's going to probably hit 50 yards. He just has to. He's too good. He's too talented. He's going to get open. 14 targets last week obviously went crazy. If they give him, I would say if they give him 8 targets, he's going to get there. So, he's the only one from that team that I'm interested in. Elijah Moore, you could not interest me in Elijah Moore if his over was at okay, that's a lie. But I'm not interested at 50, dude. Like he has no business having a higher total than Garrett Wilson. Just not really at all. So no, thank you. Not interested in him. Corey Davis, who I'm not interested in. Western Michigan alumni Corey Davis. No, thank you. Okay, not interested in AJ Brown's. Not interested in AJ Brown's. Second fiddle. No thanks. No thank you. Saints in Carolina. Can I have an if-then statement? Because I'd like to have an if-then statement for this game. If
Go ahead.
Alvin Kamara does not play, Jameis Winston is going to throw for more than 240 passing yards. If Alvin Kamara does play, he may not. I think that's probably a good if-then statement for this game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Chris Olave, I like this week, by the way. I think he put a really good performance together last week. He left some meat on the bone too. Like he really did. He had a few drops.
Fumble as well.
Yeah, the fumble. But I like him this week. I think it's a good spot for him. Getting that much volume from Jameis, it's not like Jameis's targets are Trubisky targets, right? We said that all targets are created differently. Jameis targets aren't terrible targets. They're really not. Not all of them. So I kind of like Olave this week. I'm playing him in DFS at least as of Wednesday evening. So he's going to be around for me this week. I like him. I think it's a good matchup against Carolina as well. Baker, I have probably negative interest in anything related to Baker Mayfield. I could not be any less interested in anything Baker related. Does he have a versus against? He doesn't have anything against Winston, of course not. McCaffrey. Probably not, right? Like, you look at the rushing yards, you think, man, that's low. That's really low for Christian McCaffrey because he's so capable of getting more than that. But it just
he's going up against a great front two and great second level players from the Saints.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like it's going to work out for him. I don't hate taking the under 100 total yards. I don't hate taking the under rushing yards. In fact, there is a universe not far away from ours where I take the under rushing yards on Sunday. And that universe is spiraling closer towards us as we speak. I think that total may even go down. I think that may get closer to 55 than to 60. But we'll see. Matt Stafford against the Cardinals. I like his over passing touchdowns this week.
Last season, I want to say he smashed it twice. I know at least in the second game in Arizona, and then the playoff game, he smashed that, and I like him to do that again.
Yeah. I mean, I'm good with it, man. I think he's gonna throw for 2 or 3 touchdowns for sure. I think they score probably 4 or 5 touchdowns in this game. It's a fast-paced game, and Arizona plays fast, so they're going to get plenty of opportunities, plenty of cracks at it. I like Stafford. I like him to throw 3 touchdowns. I really do. Darrell Henderson, again, man, it's like it's such a weird flip of the script, right? Because McVay came out, he was anti-Akers all week, and then this week, Cam Akers had 65 to 70% of the target share, or the snap count rather, and he had the line share of the touches. He didn't really do a whole lot with them. He averaged about 3 yards a carry against Atlanta, but he played a lot more than he did previous. I thought Darrell Henderson was still the better back last week, so I don't know if that matters. The 38.5 rushing yards feels good to me. Arizona's run defense is not stout by any stretch, so I don't hate the 38.5. It's just kind of scary because you don't know how much burn he's going to get. Like, to me, if he gets 10 carries, he's getting 38. But I just don't know that is he going to get 10 carries or is he going to get 6 carries? Because if he gets 6 carries, I'm a lot less interested. So it really just kind of depends on that. And we'll get more news as the week goes on, I guess, about the potential timeshare in the backfield. But I'm keeping my eye on Darrell Henderson. I like him this week, and 38.5 seems like a reasonable number. Cooper Kupp.
I also love Cooper Kupp. I mean, I know it's 100.
Yeah.
My goodness, but dude, that secondary from the Cardinals is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Their cornerbacks absolutely terrible. Their game plans are usually Vance Joseph. I'm so sorry. You need to go back to Nebraska with your brother, and maybe you spark it there. But I mean, I know Devontae Adams had 2 catches last week. I think that was more doing of Derek Carr.
Josh McDaniels. That's a Josh McDaniels disaster class last week, is what that was. That was horrible from him.
Yeah, I love Kupp to go 100 yards. I think he might get 120, 130.
Yeah, I like Kupp this week. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I like Kupp this week a lot. I like Stafford this week. So again, I mean, these are things that you can correlate within your lineup, within your picks if you want. Stafford 2 touchdowns, Kupp 100 receiving yards. If Stafford throws for 3 touchdowns, realistically, Kupp's probably going to have 100 receiving yards. You can just put that on the board. You know what I mean? And I don't really think Darrell Henderson is like a guy that you would steer clear of because of Stafford's numbers. I think that they can all 3 hit because this number is so low. It really just feels like all 3 of those things could hit. Tyler Higbee, he is what he is. He's a good player. He got a lot of targets last week and the week before. It's just hard because you don't really know if it's sustainable. We don't know how much it's gonna, how often he's gonna get those types of targets. If it continues, then yeah, I mean, I'm cool on Higbee. He seems fine, but not right now. Kyler Murray. What do you even say, man? Like, he could throw a pick, but it's like, does he? I don't know. Like,
and like we said last week, I mean, he is the epitome of an unserious football player in this league. I just stay far away from him. He could have 400 total yards.
He could. He could do that.
And he may not even care that he had 50 because the new COD's dropping. And,
exactly.
I'm steering very far away from.
Yeah. He had 80 yards last week in the first half before the collapse of the Vegas Raiders, by the way. So let's not pretend like Kyler Murray last week was just like lighting shit on fire. Like he had 80 or like 50 or 80 yards in the first half. That's not good. He rises to the occasion. He did rise to the occasion. But man, I'm not interested in Kyler Murray this week. If anything, maybe the under total yards speaks to me more than anything. But I'm just not super interested in him. Not super interested in these pass catchers either. Moving on to Green Bay, Tampa. I don't know why this is so high. 98.5 receiving and rushing yards for Aaron Jones. They have a fat second-round running back that they have to get the ball to. So I don't know why they think that this is going to hit. I'm not. He had a big week last week against Chicago, but Chicago was not Tampa. That's a different team entirely. That's completely different. I am not interested in that. It's grayed out, so maybe they're lowering it to like 80, because then I'd be interested. But 98, nah, not for me. Rodgers, I kind of like his under attempts this week a little bit. Your thoughts on that? 32.5?
Yeah, I mean the way that they play, that seems pretty good. The only worry would be obviously the Tampa front, and are you going to just keep banging your head into the wall? Like, are you going to keep doing that? Maybe they will. I mean, maybe Matt LaFleur has proven himself to just keep doing that. And
sure.
But yeah, again, I think Green Bay's another team that I'm just going to steer very clear from and just laugh when they burn 2 timeouts per half when they take the play clock down to 1.
Yeah, I'm with that. I agree. If Lazard's over under for receptions is like 2.5, 3, I'll take that. Other than that, not super interested in this game. I just said not interested in this game. I lied. I'm interested in one very particular part of this game, and that is Leonard Fournette's rushing yards. I'm very interested in that. I think Leonard Fournette is going to get 20-plus carries. I think that if he gets 20-plus carries against this Packers defense, he is going to end up with 65 yards. I just think that's a given, right? I think Tampa Bay's offensive line in terms of run blocking is not bad. They can't pass protect. They're terrible at pass protection, but their run blocking is okay. It's definitely not horrible. I like Fournette. I like the rushing yards prop. I almost like rushing attempts even more.
15.5.
I changed my mind. I like the rushing attempts, actually.
I love that.
I don't see a world in which he doesn't get 15 rushing attempts or 16.
Yeah. And if you think, if he gets 16 attempts, he's probably going to hit 65 yards.
He probably will, yeah. So, but I think attempts is probably just a safer bet because they feed him the ball. And you can say that Todd Bowles doesn't call that offense, but I guarantee you he tells Byron Leftwich what's up. You know what I mean? Like he probably lets him know in the headset, like, hey man, we're running the ball this drive. Yeah. And Byron Leftwich is sitting there just thinking, we have run the ball 28 times today. Can we please throw a play action pass? And Todd Bowles will let him. Todd Bowles says, like, let's slow the game down here. Let's take the air out of the ball a little bit, okay? Let's take the air out of the game. Let's just control the clock.
Coordinator to retire mid-game.
Yeah, he might. Yeah, he definitely could retire, and then let his contract run out, come back. Just man, what a horrible offense because of Todd Bowles. It's all his fault. Jacksonville Chargers. This is a game again that I kind of want to steer clear of. I'm not interested in James Robinson, though those numbers look very tempting. I do not have any interest. They are low numbers. He is a good running back, but I have no interest in that. Trevor Lawrence, his rushing yards total is slightly interesting to me. He's run a lot less this year than he did last year, but he still has the capability of running. And when you're under pressure, especially coming from the outside, your mentality and your instincts are going to kick in. You're going to step up and you're going to see open grass and probably take off. And I think Trevor's capable of doing that. Everything else on here feels frightening to me. I'll say that.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. His rushing yards, like you said, you get on the edges, you got Mack and Bosa, and in the middle, there's not really a dominant middle there for the Chargers.
They're softer in the middle, yeah.
Yeah, if you can get past, that first line of defense, you're looking at, a guy like Drew Tranquil out there, and I think Trevor Lawrence can, get some yards against him. So yeah, those rushing yards aren't bad for sure.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't love it because he hasn't run as much as he has last year, or as much as he did last year. But I'm okay with that. If you're gonna put something on Trevor Lawrence, if you're just like, hey man, I stan Trevor Lawrence, I have to put something on him. All right, dude. Take the over on rushing yards and just get out of my face. Yeah. Just get out of here. You weird freak. All right. James Robinson, again, like I said, I'm not interested. Travis Etienne, again, this feels like a trap because his receiving yards feels good to me. 17 and a half just feels good. Like, he should, in theory, have more than that.
Yeah.
Against linebackers, like you said, that aren't spectacular. Oh man, it's just so scary though, isn't it? Because like, how involved is he really going to be? His snap count I think was okay last week. I think it was like 50-ish%. Maybe it was a little bit under. Maybe 45. I don't know. He's getting on the field. He just scares me. But his receiving yards. I mean, he hasn't had under 17 and a half all year. I don't really see why that would stop this week. I don't think that LA's going to do anything to negate his effort. In the passing game. If anything, you would almost expect more screens, more dump offs with a pretty aggressive pass rush. So I kind of like Etienne's receiving yards as well.
That's a fantastic point.
Yeah.
You know, they like to get up the field, and Doug Peterson, very smart coach. I could see Etienne 2 or 3 screens and popping 10, 15 yards just in those screens.
Sure, yeah, I don't see why not. The rest of it, I don't like. I don't like Christian Kirk. Now, I will say this about Christian Kirk: he plays primarily in the slot for Jacksonville, and he's not going to see a lot of J.C. Jackson. Not that J.C. Jackson is like terrifying right now, anyway. But Christian Kirk's okay. I wish Evan Ingram had a catch, a receptions prop, because I think his receptions maybe at 4.5 or 5. Man, I mean, Doug Peterson likes his tight ends. He always has. And I think Evan Ingram is just another on the long list of tight ends that Doug Peterson likes. I think he's still going to be involved in the offense. Again, like we said, their tight ends are kind of weak, or their linebackers are kind of weak, I should say, in LA. So Evan Ingram, I mean, I don't love his receiving yards prop, but I if you find a receptions prop for him that's about 4.5, if you can get maybe like 4, 3.5, whatever, I would take it. I think he's going to have about 5 receptions this week, or more. I like Evan Ingram this week. All right. The Chargers. This is really simple. I'm not interested in either of these.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
No thanks.
Wouldn't take either of those.
No thanks, because Herbert takes 1 hit to the ribs and he's out. Austin Eckler takes 10 carries for 5 yards and he's out. So nope, I'm good. I'm not interested in that. And the final, they don't even have the Sunday night game. They don't have the. They don't even have Seattle on here at all. Huh? Is that a mistake? Is that a mistake? Is this a mistake? Let's see. It is not a mistake. Okay. There's no respect for the Seattle Seahawks, unfortunately. That's fine. I don't respect them either, so we can move through that. Marcus Mariota, total yards. That one doesn't seem bad to me. I'm surprised there's no Cordero Patterson props. He's another guy that I'm big on in DFS this week. I think he's going to have a good bounce-back game. He was kind of not super involved in the offense last week, but they were getting blown out, and he's an older running back, older receiver, if you will, whatever you want to call him, but he's older, and you kind of want to save the tread on those tires for a game that matters. And Arthur Smith, this game matters because this is a game you could win. I like Cordero Patterson this week, whatever prop you can find for him, as long as it's within reason, obviously. I like it. Mariota's total yards, I don't hate 250. He's going to run around. He's going to get you some yards on the ground. Last week he had 16, but the week before that he had 72. It's a tough call, but I don't hate that. Drake London I don't hate. Kyle Pitts I don't hate. So I like all 3 of those. I don't know that I would take all 3 of them, but I do like them. So
yeah, I would probably shift towards. Man, that's tough because I do think it will be a Kyle Pitts kind of bounce back week. So
it should be, yeah.
Favor Pitts over London.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna think that Arthur Smith, in my brain, that he has seen all the flack about not getting Pitts the ball, not looking his way, and I'm just gonna assume that he's gonna have one of these 6-7 catches for 70-yard type games and maybe a touchdown. So I'll pump the over on Kyle Pitts, and if it doesn't work, I'll bully Arthur Smith a little more. So the next week I'll take his over.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, look, I'll say this. Arthur Smith is used to working with really, really talented tight ends, so he knows how to do this. He had 38-year-old Delaney Walker. He had Anthony Ferkser. So he knows a thing or two about tight end talent. So he's definitely going to be able to get Kyle Pitts more involved. I really do believe in that. Jesus, it is past the hour of which I should have gone to sleep. Obviously, making reference to 38-year-old Dusty Delaney Walker, who was in the league until like 2 years ago. Like, that's a deep cut, man. That's a deep cut, 38-year-old Delaney Walker. You know, people forgot about him already. I guarantee you, like, half the people listening to this probably already forgot Delaney Walker existed. He did. He was a tight end. He was a damn good one, too, for a little while. But then he got old, and it hit him fast. Kyle Pitts is not old. Kyle Pitts is young. Kyle Pitts.
Tight end Anthony First.
No, that was a joke, obviously. He's not. But, like I said, Kyle Pitts, he's young. He plays 90% of the snaps. If not him, then who? You're right. Like that's kind of the mentality I have to have with Kyle Pitts. It's like, if not him, then who? Last week it was this guy. And I think he's still going to have a good game this week. 57 seems low against Seattle as well. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like it, but again, I don't know. I don't really watch bad football. I don't really watch bad football that much. So I don't really know a lot about both of these teams because they're both terrible. So betting on bad football is not my favorite thing to do. But of course, I'm a degenerate, so I probably would do that. Just really, really quickly, if we're gonna if I'm looking at my best bets, if I'm just putting one together, just for the video's sake, give me Fournette. Actually, rushing attempts probably better. Give me Stafford passing touchdowns. Give me, what else do we like? We like ETN receiving yards. I'm very confident about that one. I like Jay Jetta, man, but get a little nervous about that's a big number in front of his name, actually. Where's Matt Ryan at? Where are you at, buddy? Oh, hold on. Like David Montgomery's rushing yards. Where's Matt Ryan? Give me the over on Matt Ryan. And I actually wait. I know Matt Ryan's a cover child of this and like the poster boy, but give me Mahomes, dude. Give me Mahomes 2.5, and we ride with this. We go aggressive, dude. All overs, like we're aggressive here. We don't play with unders. We're not interested in lowers. You know what I mean? We go big. Or we go home, and most weeks we go home, but whatever, dude. Like, it's cool. That 22 used to be a lot bigger, and it's not anymore. That's fine. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get it back. But for now, this is what we're working with. Fournette, 15 rushing attempts. Stafford, 2 passing touchdowns. ETN, 17.5 receiving yards. Montgomery, 63.5 rushing yards, and Mahomes, 2.5 passing touchdowns. Those are the locks, dude. That's what I like, and you should like it too, because that's good shit. We just spent like an hour and 15 minutes talking about why this is good shit. So just listen, all right? Pay attention. Skip to the end of the video. Find this shit. Like, all right, that's cool, but you didn't hear our reasoning. That's why it works. Anyway,
trust
man,
us, we're gonna make you a millionaire.
Exactly. Right? You gotta trust the process here. Okay. How are we gonna make ourselves a millionaire while also making you a millionaire? You just have to find out. You just have to trust the process, dude. We can all be millionaires together. Every one of us, right? Build a millionaire community full of just rich people who got rich off football. It's great, man. It's the dream, right? Anyway. We're rambling. We recorded 2 videos back to back. They're both an hour long, so we are talked out. And it may not seem like it, but we are. So hopefully everybody enjoyed the video. Make sure you keep an eye out over the weekend. We'll have some other stuff coming out. We constantly talk about different videos that we could do, college videos, NFL just recaps throughout the weekend or whatever. But we'll just keep your eye out on the channel, dude. You can just hit the subscribe button. What else are you doing? Like, subscribing is free. You don't have to like search our shit up anymore. Just subscribe. It pops up in your feed. Everybody wins, especially us. So keep an eye out for the videos coming up. Make sure that you guys hit a like on this video, hit subscribe, comment, all that YouTube shit. And all that being said, we're out of here. All right. Don't forget, going forth. Peace.